serve older adults that are 62 and older, and that age restriction remains in place. We do make exceptions to it from time to time, but on the whole, it's 62 and older. Long-term care and rehab is going to continue to be available after this project. You know that we've talked about that. One of the comments on the website cites that we're applying for a liquor license as an example of this. And I'm glad you guys laughed at that. We've held a liquor license since 2020 here in our community. And so, you know, any questions on this one? I mean, it's inaccurate. Denise?
Just one question. I understand that we're short of assisted living now, that people are having to stay in independent living because we're already short of assisted living. Is that right?
The comment Denise is making is that she understands we're short in assisted living, and some people are remaining in independent living because there's not something available in assisted living. That's a complicated answer. I will say we've had a number of people move from independent living to assisted living in the recent weeks. It is tight. I mean, we are limited on the number of apartments that we have, and that's one of the reasons for this project, is to increase the number of assisted living apartments that we're going to have available to you, and again, create more of a model that is internal, where our assisted living, our long-term care and rehab, it's really you that's going to access those services as opposed to bringing in people from outside this community. And so, you know, I would say it's inaccurate, Denise, to say that, you know, we don't have capacity to meet someone's needs that has an immediate need. It just depends on the situation. Some people only want a 1-bedroom, some people only want a 2-bedroom, some people only want a studio. And so in some cases, if they may say, I just want a studio, or I just want a 1-bedroom, and all we can offer them is a studio, then they may wait until that 1-bedroom comes open. So, but you bring up a good point there. It's one of the reasons for this project is we want to be able to do more assisted living so that we don't run into that issue.
How many more assisted living units will we have by the time we're finished?
We're roughly doubling the number of assisted living units that we have from today. Yeah. Susan?
So are you saying that we're kind of going to be a closed system where people from the outside will not be able to access the skilled nursing, where do you call it now, and assisted living, memory care, all the others?
It'll be much more difficult for people from the outside of our community to access assisted living or the care center, because when you look at the numbers that we're presenting, those numbers are really based off of really the size of our independent living. You know, and so people hear that we're going from 200 plus skilled nursing down to 30, that catches you off guard, but it's traditionally we've relied on people coming in from the outside in order to utilize that space. And so now those same 30 beds, you all have a higher priority being already invested in our community. And so the short answer, Susan, is it'll be much more difficult to access any assisted living or care center if you're not already in our community. Sorry, having trouble seeing it.
Is there a plan for what if those are full and people in IL need access to long-term care?
The question is around if those are full and people in independent living need access to long-term care. You know, I think it's a fair question. I've had others ask me that. What I'll say though is that as LSS, we're not in the business of doing that, making people move to another community or not having a space for you when you need it. Okay, and so we've done a pretty extensive study on this to understand the right number of apartments that we need in each of these levels to accommodate your needs. And I can tell you, having been in 5 other LSS communities, that question a lot of time comes up around Medicaid beds, because we may have 5 Medicaid beds in a community of 400, and people get worried, well, if I run out of money, am I going to be able to get one of those 5? I have never seen it not work out where we did not have a Medicaid bed when somebody needed it. I personally have never witnessed where somebody was forced to move to another community out of necessity. I've seen it happen out of preference. We had a resident move here one time from Merrimack Bluffs because we had a particular style of assisted living apartment that they wanted, and Merrimack didn't. So I've seen it happen that way, where a resident chooses it, but I've never seen it out of necessity. The other claim here is that there's going to be an increased strain on EMS services. That's the another claim that's put on the website. In reality, we anticipate a reduction in EMS services being required on this campus as a result of this project. And the reason that we're saying that is we're decreasing the number of long-term care and rehab beds that we're operating. And that has traditionally been the highest utilization of EMS. I know, we had the day a couple weeks ago where we had 5 ambulances here. I get it. Let me tell you though, there was a day here since I've been here that we operated 70 short-term rehab beds. And a short-term rehab bed is for people that have come, that are in the hospital because of some acute event, like a stroke or something bad has happened, right? They go to the hospital, they came to us in rehab. 7 days ago, they were in the ER, or they were in ICU, let's say. That population or resident uses EMS services far more than independent living or assisted living. The 5 that we had in that one day in independent living was a regular day in skilled nursing for us. I hate to say it. But so traditionally, though, that level of care has used EMS services more frequently than independent or assisted living. It's not to say we're not going to have a need. We will have a need still, obviously. But the need is actually going to decrease from what it's been in the past. The other point to that is just that we're reducing the overall density on campus, like I already mentioned. And then I think this is the last of the main things that's being said, is that increased noise on campus. And we're actually anticipating a reduction in noise on campus. And I'm going to share why. I already told you, we're anticipating reduced traffic on campus once this project's complete. We're anticipating reduced utilization of EMS services. We're increasing screening at the campus boundary. Okay, I talked about the mature trees. I don't think I even mentioned that. I know there's been some ideas for the fill dirt from this project mentioned. That fill dirt is going to be used to raise the height of that berm in that boundary, an additional, I think, 8 feet, plus the 75 evergreens that we're going to put atop of that additional 8 feet. And so we're increasing the screening at the campus boundary, and we're meeting with one of the neighborhoods, Fairfield, tomorrow to talk about some of their concerns. We may need to look at doing some additional things over there. And there it is. Normally I have it all pop up all at once, so I get myself all confused when I do it one at a time like that. Bottom line though, we anticipate a reduction in noise once this project is complete. Is there any questions about that point? Do you feel like you'll retain all that so that when you're talking to your friends, you'll be able to set the record straight? A minute or two. Go ahead.
Most of the noise occurs from speed bumps. Trucks going over speed bumps.
Yeah, well, and I don't know. The comment was around speed bumps and the noise from that, and so everybody knows we're not pursuing speed bumps on campus. And the fire marshal wouldn't have it even if we would want to. So, yeah, we've moved on from that idea. Mr. Bunty.
Yeah, why do you say there'll be less daily traffic on campus if there are more units?
So the question is, why would there be less traffic on campus? And so this is why I'm making that claim. Because we're going to have fewer apartments on campus at the conclusion of this project, and we're going to have fewer staff coming to work every day at the conclusion of this project. And so we would anticipate and this is not a scientific study, it's anticipation. Based on those numbers, we would anticipate 100 cars or fewer on campus than if we were operating as we are set up to operate today. Does that answer your question, Mr. Bunty? Any other questions about the project?
I just wanted to comment, if you're meeting with Fairfield, that they have a gatehouse over there that has 3 bright lights that shine right on apartments on that side of the building. Yes. Very bright lights. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can.
We've never complained about their lights.
We'll use that as a bargaining chip.
They
Appreciate
just
it.
point them down, but they're pointed, yeah.
Okay. We'll let them know that. Ron?
When do you anticipate construction will happen outside the buildings, road, roads?
When are we expecting construction to happen outside, I assume related to the independent living? The road work is planned to start this summer. I think sometime in July. And the building of the independent living, I believe it starts with obviously demo of the existing assisted living, which is supposed to be October, November this year. So we're talking early next year, you'll see the new one going up, depending on how the vote goes. Barb?
That's my question. What if they vote it down? What are you going to do?
Question is, what do we do if they vote it down? Well, I don't know the answer to that. I can go through this presentation again, though. You know, one thing I want to say is, when we went to planning and zoning, we didn't really invite people to come and speak on the project behalf. And I'm not prepared necessarily to organize anything today, but for those of you out there that are in support of this project, I really hope all of you are. And if you're not in support of this project, I would love the opportunity to come talk to you about it a little bit more to see if I can change your mind. Because I think this is a very positive project for all of you that are sitting in this room. And with that, anybody that would be interested in coming and supporting us at the Planning and Zoning Committee would be, or not Planning and Zoning, but the Alderman Public Forum, we would very much welcome that. And so I'd say just reach out to me if you have an interest, particularly if you were a Town and Country resident before you moved in here.
Drew,
Yes.
could you tell us when that meeting was?
It is the public, let's see, you may know, do you remember 5th?
What?
The public forum in April?
I've got a comment.
I think it's the 10th.
The public forum, so that would be the 10th.
10th.
The 10th, so the Board of Aldermen meetings are the 2nd and the 4th Mondays. So it's like tonight is a meeting, so it'll be the 10th and then the 24th. And I just wanted to add, this is a big plus for the city. This does benefit the city as far as licensing fee. And one of the things that individuals were asking is how it just allows, and I know a lot of people here maybe came from Chesterfield and Wildwood, but the question was, it's good to have a place for existing Town and Country residents to stay in Town and Country, and a lot of people want that. So if you were, what Drew said, and we're gonna get the look at how many existing Town and Country residents are on the wait list. But those are all things that garner support from the city, from the aldermen.
You see, Denise?
I just have one question. With the planning and zoning being for the 6-1, what does the council have to vote to pass it?
5 to pass.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Question was, how many of the council members have to pass it, and the number's 5.
So that's 5 of 8.
5 of 8. They-
But they aren't the same people as the zoning commission.
No.
They're different people. I think two maybe are the same.
Two new.
Yeah. Like the mayor was on planning and zoning, and our alderman, Jeff Perot, was also on planning and zoning. John?
Is it correct to assume that this project is structured and planned and financed so that there will be no effect on the monthly fees that we, the current and independent living residents, will pay? If that's not correct, please tell us. And could you imagine under what circumstances that assumption may not be correct?
That assumption is correct, that there's not going to be new fees associated with your monthly service fee as a result of us doing this project. The second part of that, does that answer your question, John, or was there another part?
Partially. The second part is, under what circumstances could they affect our fees?
Well, if construction costs double or something, I mean, that was a joke. No, I don't know, John. I mean, that's not really been anything that we planned for. I don't know what it would be. I suppose it would be some sort of crazy cost assumption that didn't turn out to be true, but that would have to be really significant. And so I don't anticipate that happening. So, all these bullet points, this presentation is going to get shared with all of you. That way you have it. I would ask that, maybe give this another look so that you are familiar with at least what I'm saying. And I mean, you decide for yourself. I'm presenting what we believe to be true. And, but I think it would be helpful if you have relationships with our surrounding neighbors that maybe you talk to them about it. Because, again, our neighbors are good people. All right, I hope you don't think I'm being disrespectful in how I presented this information. We understand why they have concerns. They're looking out for their property value. They're looking out for their sight lines. It's understandable. But getting the real message to all the neighbors, we want to make sure that we share that with as many people as we can, because if you're only taking the information from the website, we believe that you're not getting the full picture of what's really happening, and that could make you more concerned than we think you should be. And so if you guys have neighbors in these surrounding areas, we'd appreciate it if you would share some of this with them. Sue?
One of the things in planning and zoning, they look at 7 criteria that would allow one of the commissioners to think this project didn't work. And the chairman of planning and zoning, even though he voted against it for possibly another reason, having to do with timing of this project following the Maryville project, prior to the vote, the chairman acknowledged he went through each of those 7 criteria and stated those 7 criteria were not factors of concern. So he could have easily voted yes, and it would have been unanimous.
Thanks, Sue. Barb, you had a question?
For Sue.
Sue, we had a question for you.
Do you have any sense about the aldermen in terms of whether or not they're for or against this project?
The 2 new aldermen coming on will be informed on this project prior to March 26th, because we're going to be gone, so I won't be there. But they will be sworn in the same meeting as the 24th of April. So I don't see from other wards, possibly one person from Ward 3 could, possibly, because the area behind us is Ward 3. And so one of those aldermen might, depending on logic, might vote against it. I don't see any of the Ward 1 or Ward 2 individuals, and I have been working with them. But I take no responsibility for the final vote.
Just for my own knowledge, and moving ahead, anybody in the room, maybe you wouldn't mind slipping up your hand if you might be open to the idea of speaking on this project's behalf at an upcoming public forum meeting. I'm not writing down names, I just want to get a sense of the room. All right, so we got a couple. I'm just trying to get a sense of, I can't really read you all, if people are in favor of this project or if you're not convinced yet, because if you're not convinced yet, I'd like to talk on it as much as I can.
Why don't you ask how many are in favor to raise their hand?
How many are in favor of this project?
Here we go.
All right, good. Thanks, Mrs. S. I didn't want to outright ask it that way. All right. We're a little over on time. Just in closing, reminder why we're doing this. So we believe it's going to better position us to serve you, give you more choices around your lifestyle and preference, more community amenities. We're looking at a golf simulator. Are any golfers in the room? Was that you're a golfer, or you had a question? Mr. Seiler is a golfer? Okay, Mr. Seiler's in favor of the golf simulator. More consistent staffing, more exclusive model, invest in the people who live and work here. That's you and our staff. So that's why we're doing this.
Will we get a bus then?
Yes,
I couldn't let that pass.
we are getting a bus.
Taking my chances.
We are getting a bus. I would encourage everybody to read the notes from the representative council meeting. Yeah, okay. We got a lot of information in there. So a lot of great things with this. Appreciate all of you. Are there any final questions here in closing? All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.